Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Just Unsecure. Today, we'll be talking to you about, user-friendly security. Many people have been asking, how do you ensure security is friendly in terms of how can you make it more user-friendly to everybody using it? And we're going to discuss to you today about everything you need to know about ensuring a very friendly security when it comes to the end users. But before I go, don't forget to, subscribe. See you in a bit. Welcome to another edition of Just Unsecure series on information security and cybersecurity matters as it relates to Africa. My name is Babs and my co-host, OO. We are information security enthusiasts and evangelists. And today's topic, like I told you earlier, we're going to be talking about user-friendly security. But before I go ahead, as usual, OO, what do you want to tell us, or what do you say user-friendly security is all about?
Yeah, Babs, as you've mentioned, right? You know, it comes to a point that we've deployed security so much, but at the end of the day, we say that when we want to roll it out, either users are using it, or they are complaining, or they completely abandon the product entirely and they don't use it. So what is the point? So we want to make sure that at least we have some things that is not in the way of the user. That means user adoption is almost 100%, whether it's in an enterprise or as a product a vendor. That is what we want it to be. We want user to like security, not hate security.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you truly pointed out, there for me they're like mates, and some mates like people always have within security. One of them for me is that they say if the interface is easy to use, then it's not secure, because
Exactly.
they feel, they can use it easily, and hence it can be hacked. If you can use easily, then a hacker can actually have easy access to it, which for me, total garbage. I don't know if you have any other myths.
Another myth from the environment is also, if it is secure, it must be difficult to use. So that means you say, that system is really secure. That means everybody's head is like, man, you must have gone through a lot of things to be able to secure it. But no, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, definitely. For me as well, I keep telling people most times is security, once done right, makes the user even are not aware that security is behind what you're using because it's seamless.
Thank you.
You understand? And there's something I always tell CISOs when I'm talking to CISOs, or when I have in a room with other fellow ISOs or CISOs, I keep telling them that if any team has to work harder after your solution is in place, then trust me, the solution has no value. And I think I'm quoting this from somebody. I hope I don't steal the quote, but I read somewhere, and I agree with whoever said, I can't remember the person's name now. But if a solution you deploy still gives you more work, then it's not a useful solution within your space, especially from the cybersecurity perspective.
I agree. In fact, this is not only to CISOs you've mentioned, even to guys that are managing, analysts that are managing. If it's very difficult for them to operate, definitely, they won't even use it themselves. And even when we make a note to cybersecurity team, we always mention to them, like Sabira Krell said, usable security does not mean getting people to do what we want as security professionals. It means designing security that works, given or despite what people do. So that means that security is not relying on what people want people to do. It's actually inbuilt, as you have said. It's completely embedded, that they don't even know it's there. It's not even in their way at all.
Yeah.
That is the real thing.
So if I was going to say, because most of the listeners and viewers will be asking us, okay, what are the key areas when it comes to the step necessary to ensure secure feature, should I say, a more friendly secure feature for any of their interfaces, because that's the first contact with most most people. Like, how do you even start? How do you what would you say would be the first step?
Yeah, first step, I would say, first of all, don't even bother. Get someone who knows about user experience involved. That means more like a designer, because whether you like it or not, as you have mentioned, there's going to be a front gate. That means a front end, whether it's an application that you have designed internally or you have integrated that solution to an application. Get someone who understands design, who understands user experience, who can interpret what it means for a user to come on. Most likely, most times we get technical and IT guys into the room and we just implement security. And at the end of the day, you just said, this is your own. Even password implementation is hard. When you tell people to make sure that their password meets, it's pretty hard.
Yep.
How you design that is pretty, it makes a difference whether the user get it right or the user get it wrong, or the user abandon it completely.
I think another one to add to that is to also ensure you have the stakeholders to engage with the UX and be able to, so that they let the UX know or know how they need the design to look to be able to fulfill some security requirements. So some security, or say compliance requirements such as ISO 27001 or the PCI DSS might need people to enter some passwords in a certain length or things that they need to do to ensure that the UX takes into cognizance when developing that interface. So I always say, take all the stakeholders that will be required to be able to fulfill your requirement. That's just my own take on that. For just get the stakeholders involved in UX design, or should I say UX security, very, very early.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And when you bring all of these people together, don't forget, is actually all we're talking about right there is to make it friendly, appealing to the end user, non-disruptive. So Tunde, what would you say should be maybe a deployment, design, implementation methods that should be taken into consideration? How can you get this user on board?
Well, design methods, well, there are loads, but one of the key areas I always look forward to is, what I always mention, is ensuring you have some form of trust, which is, and the only way I look at trust is to have end-to-end encryption, knowing that everybody communicating or all the transactions happening from one end to the other is secure. So I look at building of trust, and the only way right now, things might change. The only way you can build trust within any secure solution is to have end-to-end encryption.
Yeah, at least that assurance to the end user that yes, and implementing it, for instance, because you've mentioned something key, especially when it comes to the security standard we just mentioned. Most of this said there should be an end-to-end encryption. But for an end user, how would they implement it? They are not technical.
Well, so exactly. Yeah, that's a good one. But the thing is that for end users, the assurance, I'll give like WhatsApp, for example. Most people tend to use WhatsApp because they have that feeling or that knowledge, and it says, you know, your messages are encrypted. And that's where the UX comes in. It kind of interface to inform the user, to let the user be aware or have that comfortness that yes, this message is going to be secure. It's only between myself and the person I'm communicating with. And that's where the UX comes in, ensuring that for every step you take or every action, there's kind of like a feedback loop to you that you don't need to actually do any action. Whatever
Thank
you're
you.
using, the application you're using informs you that you're safe. You can continue.
Thank you. I love that. Because if I don't have to do anything, even as an end user, when I'm using WhatsApp that you've mentioned, that is a breeze. The second one is it's a common one that I know is authentication, right?
Yeah.
Every application will at least request that you have username and password. And this is always a contention. So again, user trust, yes, my password will not be compromised, but it has gone beyond password, username and password in this last 1 year. That's not tenable. It's bringing what we call two-factor authentication, MFA, but how can that possibly happen? User input is required. How do you make users love this? So one of the things that you and I always talk to customer on is when it comes to, we make it adaptive. You make it context-based. If I keep bugging you about two-factor authentication, almost everything that you are doing, definitely you're going to abandon it.
Yeah.
Because it's another order. Don't forget that users just don't want to do anything extra. So if users have been used to how they use their phone, that they just place it this way, and the face is done. They go to WhatsApp, they use fingerprint, and it's just done. But when it comes to MFA, it's a different thing. So make it context-based, especially when you want to implement difficult things like this. Definitely, when the user changes a new device, they changes a location, they want to do high-level, unusual, that's what I call it adaptive security. When they want to do an unusual transaction, maybe they used to do 2,000 before, and they want to do 20,000. You want to say, are you sure that you are the same person? And then you use second factor authentication. User will appreciate that because they know you are trying to verify. Which other one do you think can be done better?
For me, from a UX perspective, I think enhancing the user privacy and data and privacy information. So, as we all know, the intent for most users is to steal personal data. So most of the cyber acts, everybody wants to get user information. That's the gold mine of the internet space, or should I say, anyone that wants to hack. Privacy, any form of privacy data is useful data. How can the UX help in this? Most people say, well, the UX creates an interface that informs the user of the requirements of what they need when it comes to, for example, changing their passwords. So instead of, I would say like UX can help in saying, ensure you use a strong password instead of saying, use capital L, use small b, so informing the user, letting the user be aware that, okay, they need to put in strong password. And then when the password is not strong enough, then you can inform the user that, okay, you need to do this and this to be strong, but give the users the first opportunity to put in a strong password. That way you're educating the user to be able to be conscious that they need a strong password. Don't guide them yet, but obviously if they don't do the rightful, then obviously you've not done A, B, and C to make your password strong enough. If you notice in some very secure site, when you're putting in the password, there's like a barometer telling you, whoa, this is very strong. That is another level of UX interface, letting you know that your password is at a strong feature. Those are the kind of things I will be looking for when a UX designer that is actually focused on security is building. I don't know anything else you want to add there, or any other one you think?
The one that I love, I love one that was implemented very well. It has more like a checklist on your interface when you're entering the password. So your policy in the organization says your password must have letter, must have capital, must have special character. So it listed all of those as a checklist. So as you're entering the password, it's checking it, and it's telling you which one is not checked. So you know that, you need to add character, that you are missing character in your password. That was very good. because the user knows, like, yes, this is where I'm missing it. This is an additional thing I need to add, and we're able to do it easily. So this is where it appeals to the user. Apart from what you've said, that yes, you're telling the user why they should do it, which is very key, but also how, and easy way for them to know how to do it. This created a lot of adoption from the end user, because you're able to do that carefully. And then the error that comes after, of course, they know that they looked at the right-hand side and they see those ones that have not been checked. Oh, okay, I think I missed this, which is brilliant for me. The other one is being able to, that I've seen, is, whether you like it or not at this time, there's a lot of social engineering.
Yeah.
So some people have got a lot of things against their user accounts. Being able to warn the user as well, especially when they look at, oh, this link that you're connected to is not too secure, or entering your password right here might mean someone want to compromise your password, or being able to click just to report phishing attack from your interface, whether it's from the email directly or from your application directly. It makes it easier for you to say, no, I don't think I'm the one doing this. For example, when you want to log into Gmail, for instance, from another location, Gmail will send you an email. It says, oh, I detected that somebody logged into your account from a different location. And you can click in that email and say, oh, it's me, or it's not me. And then immediately you can report. Things like that can help. Those are user-friendly security. They actually understand the context in which you're bringing it, and not trying to think any other way. So this is...
Yeah, no, I think the phishing part is spot on. Social engineering is always an area for security. So when UX people are able to design things that help people to report quickly, like you mentioned, is spot on. I think another area, and that's leading me to the area I was thinking about, which is ensuring like we're able to remove obstacles for users. So logging in to your secure, let's say having an interface that allows you to communicate easily when things are not working, might also indirectly communicate to malicious people what things are not working. So those are the things you need both the security and the UX designers to be able to work on, to kind of understand what not to say and what to say, because when you say this connection is not working, to a normal user, this connection is not working. But to a malicious user, say, okay, they have other connections that are in place. Do you understand? That are in place that you need to go look forward to. So you have to be careful of the information you give out during failures to connect. And also, you should also remember that you don't want users in-house or users to be frustrated because of security. So you have to make it, if a connection is not working, and you know that it's due to timeout, might not necessarily be that, let it be, and in the background work its way to resolve it and connect the user. That is a good way of getting the users informed that now you have connection, but not feeding back, giving unnecessary information to users when you know that it's a situation that will be resolved in time. That's just my own. So I don't know if you have any other thing.
Fantastic. That means information control as well. Information overload to get them confused. They should not be confused. And one caution, that also word of caution that we usually give, Babs, remember, like we are consultants, right? But even sometimes internal consultants, we always want to please don't overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you bring in a consultant, and then these are experts. They tell you overdo this, overdo that. It doesn't really make sense. It would make, and at the end of the day, users are going to abandon it. So, so make it pretty simple. Stupid.
Kiss. Keep it stupidly simple.
Simple. That's it. So that at least every user is able to adopt it. And that is security.
Good. And I don't know if you have any more. That's it from me. If I don't have anything else to add to that, I think we covered most of it. I think for my own conclusion is, for everybody out there, both UX and security professionals, they just consider and respect users when you're designing, implementing, and operating any security solutions or program. And like we always say on Just Unsecure, remember the weakest link. You are only as strong as your weakest link.
Definitely. I agree with you. So thank you for joining us today. We hope this has been very interesting to you. You can send us comments and questions, and of course, subscribe. We are on all the platforms. YouTube, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, or send comment to us at juteam@justunsecure.com.
See you all later. Thanks.